Happy Sunday. Today is the day I'm planting all of my veggies outside. It's a beautiful day in Charleston. We are about 2 weeks past our last frost date. We did get a couple days last week that were in the 30s at night. I did not want to plant out these veggies. I feel like I worked so hard on them and grew them from seed this year inside in a greenhouse with grow lights, heating mats, the whole thing. So I really wanted to be positive that they would survive once I put them outside. They have been fully acclimated. I have been, or as they call it, hardening off. I've been putting them outside every day, 1 hour the first day, 2 hours the next day. It's taken about 2 weeks. And then this past week, they've been in the sun, a little bit in the shade, back and forth a bit. I got a couple scorched leaves, but overall, I think it turned out well. My cucumber plants and my zucchini, I probably started 1 to 2 weeks too early. So they're pretty big right now and they're very ready to be in the ground. So I'm going to take you guys along as I plant them out here. We're going to plant some flower seeds and I have dahlia tubers to plant. My husband's back there setting up our irrigation system, which I am beyond excited for this year. It's our first year doing an irrigation system, and I'm hoping it'll help the veggies thrive, especially once it gets super hot here in honestly the end of May. It's already hot here. It's 85 right now, which is a little abnormal. So let's get to it. So first I have some David Austin roses. I got bare root roses to put some on the trellis, the front of the house, and for one of my pots back here. And I do need to soak them for 2 hours before they get planted. So we're gonna soak them in this bucket here. We're gonna let that fill up. Let's see, this one, this is the rolled doll. So this is sort of an orange colored rose. This one is gonna go in a pot. So this is more of like a bush forming rose. I'm just gonna soak it for a couple hours so I can get done the other planting and come back and then do the roses. Both of these roses are climbing roses. I'm so excited. We have, I feel like that's enough water. They don't need to be fully submerged. You just want to rehydrate the roots because they got shipped in the mail. Okay, so we have, and these ones actually already have a couple starting to sprout, which is great. I'm hoping to get a few roses this year, but roses are sort of in the next 1 to 2 years will start to get larger. So we have Strawberry Hill. This one's going on the trellis in the backyard. Gorgeous sort of bubblegum pink roses. And this is a climbing rose, the Generous Gardener. So more of a light pink rose. And this one can work in sun and some partial shade. So this is actually going by the front of our house. So we're just going to let those soak for a couple hours and we'll go plant some of the veggies. So my roses are soaking. I thought I'd show you guys what we're planting before we get going. I have 2 zucchini plants. One is already flowering, so I really need to get this in the ground. And both are looking good. There's a little sun-scorched leaves because when I was hardening them off, I'm new to growing veggies from seeds. So I probably left them in the sun a little bit too long one of the days, but they will completely recover from that. I have 2 different indeterminate tomatoes. I have 2 sun peach tomatoes. These will be cherry tomatoes. And then I have 2 cucumber plants. These ones I probably started about a week too early. You can just see how big they already are. But we are going to be growing these up the trellis in the backyard. So I'm just going to start attaching it right to the trellis. And then we have some peppers. These are snacking size peppers. They're not spicy. They're the size you can just grab and snack on, not a full size pepper. Oh, and then I have my sugar baby watermelon. I didn't grow this one, my friend did, but this is going to go on one side of the trellis and I'm going to have a sugar cube cantaloupe on the other side of the trellis. But it's all about, I'm going to plant these in a few different spots in the garden so I can really learn what works best for next year. Okay, we're going to start with my tomato plants in this bed. I'm going to do 1 cherry tomato and 1 of the regular tomato. I do have cages that I'm going to put around them as well. I already have my basil in here and some alyssum flowers. I may try and fit some nasturtium over here so it can kind of tumble out of the bed with edible flowers. Ignore that the basil needs water. I'm getting everything planted, and then I'm actually going to do a fish fertilizer water today for everything. Yeah, this dirt is really dry right now. So we're gonna get everything planted and then give it a really good soaking. We have not had rain here in a little bit, but I do think it's supposed to rain a couple days this week. So I do want to make sure when I'm planting these tomatoes, they seem so little now, but they get so big. So I want to make sure they're not too close together in the center, but that they're not too close. I mean, they could be okay over here at the edge, but I'm going to kind of keep them probably one sort of right in here, and then one sort of right here. So that gives room for both the cages and room for both of them to get large. If they don't, if my tomato plants end up not enjoying being this close together in one bed, I'll know that for next year. But this is the first year using these beds. These are all Vigo beds with the Vigo irrigation system and a trellis on this back one. So I'm just learning this year. I grew a tomato plant on that side of the yard last year in like a 4x8 raised bed. We just used wood planks and cinder blocks on the corner. So yeah, I think I'm going to plant 2 of the tomatoes in here, and I'm going to plant a tomato next to the trellis just to see how that does. If they do amazing and they don't do as well here, then next year I can move my tomatoes over there and use this bed for something else. Basil is a great companion plant for tomatoes as well. In my beds, I have a mixture of some soil from last year and then Miracle-Gro gardening soil, mushroom compost, and topsoil. And this soil went in a long time ago, so the compost has been sitting in here for a while. I have completely soaked these beds to really get the soil ready for planting. Now I do want to be relatively careful with these guys, just because they don't really want to be totally, there we go. And I'm actually going to plant the tomato plant a little bit deeper, because if I cover up some of the bottom stem here, it'll actually shoot out some roots from that bottom stem and become really solid in the ground. So that's all. I don't bang it around or do anything super crazy, because it has been living in this cup its whole life. So we don't want it to get too shocked all of a sudden. Oh, the first veggie planted of the season. Perfect. Okay, this one's my cherry tomato. This is my weed puller. We don't really need that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think we'll definitely have some room for the nasturtiums back here, and those will look really pretty. Here's my tomato cages. And you want to put the tomato cage around your tomato plant when it's tiny, because these are pretty hard to get around a mature tomato plant. So these are just square. You can also get some that are more like a triangle cone. You can use stakes, poles, string. You can make a system that holds them up from the top as well, but I think these work great. And it just goes right into the dirt. There we go. Perfect. And this one will probably get taller than this, but at least it can come out, branch out here, and this will keep it from falling over, especially when it gets heavier with the tomatoes. It's also ideal to do this before they get too big, because you don't want to accidentally pierce into the roots too once their root system gets bigger. Ooh, this one's a little finicky. These are from last year, so, you know. There we go. Set. Ta-da! This is my zucchini plant. I'm just doing one zucchini in here. I haven't decided if I'm going to grow this zucchini up a pole to help keep it from, the issue sometimes is zucchinis will be laying on the ground and then the squash borer bugs get to them before I get to them. So there is a way to put a pole in here, and you just keep attaching the zucchini as it grows up and cutting off the bottom leaves. Just haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet. It's sort of a different technique than I've done. I did grow zucchinis last year, and I got quite a few zucchinis before too many squash bugs showed up, which was good. I want to be careful with this guy because he is pretty top heavy right now. I did start these in red solo cups, and then once they got their first set of true leaves, I moved them into the larger quart containers. Yeah, this guy's gonna be so much happier in the ground. I'm going to try and lightly press. Again, he's decently top heavy and I don't want to snap that stem by accident. I'm going to do sort of a little mounding here. Perfect. And I'm also going to do some nasturtium seeds in here, maybe a couple zinnias on the back, just so the beds look full. I mean, a zucchini plant is going to get big, but you can still sneak in some flowers, and companion planting with flowers helps with pollination, helps you get more vegetables. I already have some alyssum over here, which also the pollinators love, but they really love nasturtium. And nasturtium's so gorgeous, it actually flows over the side and it's completely edible. I actually got a few different colors of it, so we will see. This is a weed. Don't know what that guy is, but don't want him. Now for my trellis planting. I'm going to do cucumbers on this back ring, my sugar cube cantaloupe here, which I need to direct sow because that one didn't survive when I transplanted it, and my rose is going to go here. The rose will be able to stay here forever. It'll just keep getting bigger each year, and it's going to go over the trellis. Cucumbers and the veggies for the trellis I have to replant every year. To grab some kitchen twine so that I can start tying the cucumber plant up to the trellis. Get it relatively close to the trellis over here too. There we go. And then I'm going to tie it up here, and as it gets bigger, I'll probably start to loop it a little bit and then have it go up. But we're going to see how it likes to grow. So I did do my cucumbers on a trellis last year, but not a trellis like this. It was my wood one, and I sort of let it get out of hand. So this one I'm going to try and train better. And the trellis helps it so the leaves aren't all sitting on the dirt in water, which helps with pests and bugs trying to eat the cucumbers or the leaves, and keeps the aeration into the plant better too. We're going to do my other cucumber plant on this side. I'm very excited about the watermelon. So I'm going to get these planted, and then I'm going to actually just plant another zucchini in that bed. And then I'm going to plant some peppers. So I think I'm going to do 2 peppers here, 2 peppers at the end of that bed, and I might sneak a pepper in with my zucchini. Like I said, I'm trying my vegetables in a few different areas this year because this is a new garden, and I mostly did my garden on this right side of the backyard. I want to make sure I'm learning where the sun hits the best, where I get the most fruit, where the plants are happiest. I'll be doing some garden tours on YouTube, showing how it's growing each month, and maybe some harvesting ones once I get fruits and vegetables. So I wasn't planning on putting a tomato plant in here, but since I had both sun peach tomatoes survived in my greenhouse, so I'm going to test out a tomato plant on this side. This one I'm actually going to try right here next to the trellis system, and I'm going to try and get the cherry tomatoes to grow up the trellis. I'm only worried about this side of the bed because our sun comes from over there and crosses to the right side of the yard. So once this other side of the trellis starts to get super tall with vegetables and flowers and everything, I'm worried it's going to shade this side a little bit. But we are in a year of testing out everything. So if it does, I will know that for next year. And oh, look at that worm. Whoa. That means that the soil is getting healthy. So for next year, I will know if this side gets too much shade, then I will plant shade plants over here, which will probably be more like flowers or maybe some perennials. Or I thought about putting some lettuce over here because we get so hot in Charleston, lettuce can't really survive in the summer. But maybe if it's in some shade, it would last. So I may try and put some lettuce here. I'm not sure. I might also just put some herbs, which I already have basil. I have rosemary back there. I have parsley. I have lavender, all in pots. Oh, look at that. Again, with the tomato, I'm actually going to plant a little higher on the stem because it'll shoot out new roots and make the plant stronger. So this guy, I'm not gonna attach him to anything yet. He's still small, but once he starts getting bigger, I'm going to attempt to grow him up the trellis. There we go. And my feverfew here will bring in all of the pollinators to help pollinate my tomato plants and my zucchini and my cucumber. These guys are my pepper plants. I did have them, I had them a little bit crowded. This was a strawberry clamshell that I used. When you're planting your seedlings, you don't need to go out and buy all these fancy seed starting kits. I used red Solo cups, quart containers, saved my strawberry containers. Okay, these ones I think I'm gonna need no gloves because I do need to be careful getting these out of the clamshell. I'm gonna do 2 peppers here. Take it out like this, I think, and then break off the one I want. It should recover and reform its roots and everything. I'm gonna try and make a little, oh, perfect! I'm really excited about these peppers since they're the little snacking size. It's just me and my husband, so I don't wanna grow too many veggies and then we can't eat them all, which obviously I love to share with friends and neighbors and everything, but I don't need to plant, you know, I don't need 10 pepper plants. We'll be swimming in peppers. Okay, I think these are gonna get really good sun here, and we're gonna try 2 more over here. Okay, look at these guys. So hopefully they're okay that I grew them like this, but it seems like I just pulled them out and their roots should recover. If they don't, then I know for next year. Gardening is, first off, patience. So much patience. And second off, it is a lot of trial and error. Just because someone does one thing in their garden doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because we all have different growing zones, we have different climates, we have different soils, and I don't check the pH balance of my soil and stuff. I probably could or should, but let's see. You can check pH balance and everything and add things to the soil to help it get to the correct pH. I am going to be adding fish fertilizer to all of these once they're all planted. Fish fertilizer is high in nitrogen and helps the leafy green parts of plants grow. So I will give it fish fertilizer probably once today and then again in about 3 weeks. And once I start to see some blooms or vegetables start to grow, we are going to switch to a different fertilizer that has less nitrogen. So, because we don't want it to keep trying to go to the leafy greens and then I don't get as many tomatoes or the flowers take too long to bloom. Okay, 2 peppers. I have 2 more peppers left. I think I'm going to put 1 in my zucchini plant over here and I might put 1 in my other zucchini plant. I have room right there too. See, this is what happens. You start planting everything and then I'm like, oh, I have some more room. We don't want to crowd it all too much. You have to remember these are going to get big. So we'll see. I'm going to do both the peppers in here. I don't know how big these ones get. They're, like I said, they're snacking peppers. So we're going to see. I think I might do a couple of sunflowers back there. We're going to plant some dahlia tubers now. I already have a couple dahlias in here. These tubers are from last year, and I had them stored in the garage, and they started sprouting. I put them in some pots, and I had them in my little greenhouse. So this is where we're at. I actually pinched this one already, so it's growing 2 shoots on the side, which is great. I think this one is my gorgeous, I remember it last year. It had oranges and pinks all on it. It's not a ball dahlia. It's just the petals. I have no idea what these are. This might be the same thing because it has the same color stem. I didn't label. I'm not, I just collected the tubers and saved them, and here we are. But I did get new tubers this year. This is a Linda's Baby Mix from Eden Brothers. These are so pretty. So I'm really, really, really hoping that they grow well this year. This spot gets a lot of sun, so I'm feeling pretty confident about it, but you just never know. Oh my goodness. All right, this guy is already growing some. I'm probably going to try and put 2. I think there's 5 in here. Ooh, maybe 2 back here. I did want to put a couple of zinnias up here. So let's see. They end up being too close together. They say to do them 12 inches apart, but I just like to do them a little bit closer. And then I have to watch out for powdery mildew down the line. They just all come in a bag of dirt like this. And I've had them just sitting until I think they got delivered a couple weeks ago, and I just had them sitting on top of my greenhouse out of the sun. Okay, so we have one, which is already starting to grow right here, and 2, 3. We just need to find the eye on that one. 4, this one's also already starting to grow, and I don't really know about, this must be 5. These are kind of split apart, so I got to see if those are viable. So I'm going to plant the ones that I can see are already growing, so I know that it's sprouting out of the eye. And then these I will save because I have to inspect them. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm going to plant about 6 inches deep. Of course, you know, they are already sprouting. Get a little bit bigger of a hole there. Perfect. I'm going to try and leave one little sprout poking up to the sun, but they'll pop back out of the dirt. And then this one I'm going to put right here. I'm thinking this one sort of in the middle here, and then I'm going to put some zinnia seeds on either side. So I'm going to finish planting my dahlia tubers, and then I'm going to get some zinnia seeds in here, check on the roses, and then I'm going to plant some more flower seeds. The heat has calmed down a little bit out here, and the weather is so perfect right now. For seeds I'm planting, we have the nasturtium. These are great for pollinators, edible. I got this milkmaid, ladybird rose, and this one's an Alaska mix. I believe it's light oranges and some white and reds. For cosmos, these ones will be going mostly in my raised beds. How beautiful. Ignore the dirt in my fingernails now. Afternoon white is one of my favorite to grow. I grew them last year. They're a pretty big flower head, just gorgeous white with yellow centers. This is apricota. It's sort of a light rosy pink and a little bit smaller blooms. And then the xanthos, these ones are going to be yellow, also a bit smaller blooms. So I'm trying to use these two to sort of fill in some areas. And these ones I like to more show off. So I do have a smaller bed over here that I'm going to put these two in. Then I do scatter cosmos seeds. I like to do a little wildflower scattering on the side of the house, and I use this mix. It grew amazing last year. There's light pink and dark pink cosmos in here, and then the sulfur cosmos, and they're yellow and orange and just grow really well. I actually have some of them already growing from last year from all the seeds that got scattered. And the same thing with zinnias. I have this mix. So I just scatter this on the sides of the house, but in my beds, I do have, zinnias are from last year, so I actually don't quite remember. At least it shows me the color. These are all from Eden Brothers. It shows me the color on here, so I'm going to plant some of these in my beds because the pollinators love them. They're so easy to grow, so pretty. They're a cut flower. You can cut them for vases, and they just keep growing after you cut them. So these I'm going to add to the beds, and the other mix I'm going to scatter on the sides of the house. Then some other seeds I do have some yarrow seeds. These are a perennial. I actually might add to one bed because these, I've heard these like to reseed and end up everywhere. So I think I'm going to start with these in one bed. I have some annual phlox seeds. These ones I grew last year. They were very pretty. These were sort of a hot pink. And then I have some rose mallow seeds, butterfly flower, and hollyhock. Hollyhock I think is not going to really flower till the second year, but I'm going to plant some this year and see what happens. Butterfly flower I've never done. It just looked pretty. And the rose mallow looks so gorgeous. Similar sort of hibiscus type flowers on a tall stalk. These are also on a tall stalk. So I want to make sure wherever I plant these, since they're both very tall, they either need to be on the back of the bed or just behind shorter vegetables and flowers. And these are all my sunflower seeds. I got them all from my sunflowers last year. So these ones right here are huge sunflowers. They are so tall. And then these ones are a little bit shorter, lighter yellow. This is like your classic sunflower. So I'm going to plant some of these in one of the beds and potentially along the back of the fence, which is where they grew last year. My friend gave me some scarlet sage seeds. This is a salvia, so pretty. It's native here. See, you can she gave me some little facts on the front. But I'm going to plant some of this. The hummingbirds and the pollinators are me so happy. And all these flowers help with pollinating my veggies as well so that I have more vegetables and the plants are happy. This is along the dog pen over here, and I just scatter these Cosmos and zinnia seeds. I don't really do much. I just scatter them so that they can grow however they want back here. In my raised beds, I kind of scattered, but I also was a little more precise about where I placed the seeds. So all of my veggies are planted. I just put flower seeds in all the beds. I am so tired now. So the roses are all set. So I'm going to plant one rose right here to go up this trellis and the other rose in the pot. And then the third rose is going in front of the house. I'm just going to have to save that one for tomorrow because I am done today. Gardening it's a lot of work, but I'm so excited to see how this is all going to turn out, especially the dahlias, the cucumbers coming up the trellis, all the tomato plants. And I just put so many flowers in these beds. So we're going to see how everything's going to do. I'm really excited about the roses as well. And thank you for coming along with me today as I did all this planting. There she is, Strawberry Hill, climbing rose. Oh, I cannot wait to see what these roses look like in person.